Hello everyone, welcome to another video for our Java playlist section. Today we'll start with data types in Java. So without further ado, let's begin. So from today onwards, the actual core Java is getting started. So guys, please try to focus. I'll wrap it up fast and not extend it unnecessarily. Okay, so let's begin with what are the different data types in Java. Typically, data types in Java are divided into two categories. The first category is primitive data type. Okay. The second category is, I'll write it down here, as a non-primitive. So in the primitive data type, the ones which include are Boolean, the char, byte, short, int, double, long. In case of non-primitive data types, you have classes, you have interfaces, you have arrays. If you remember, we discussed a little bit about strings in the previous video. So these fall under these kind classes category. Generally, when people say is a string a data type, yes, it is a kind of a referenced non-primitive data type. It is not a primitive data type. So typically when we understand of any coding language with object-oriented programming in nature, generally the primitive data types are considered to be the ones which are the data types, but since it is a model language, we are moving ahead. So strings fall under this category. So as of now, we will discuss mostly on the data types in Java. And if you ask me one question, which are the ones which are most commonly used? The most commonly used are, of course, non-primitive are very commonly used. Okay, along with here, we mostly use int and Boolean. I don't think we hardly use char. We and byte is like I've never used. Short, double and long are typically not used at all. But we'll discuss a little bit about each of them. Okay. Okay, guys. Now let's go back to our Eclipse and start using these data types in real-time scenario. Okay, if you remember, this was the project which we created yesterday, learning Java, and I've created a small package here, and this was the code which we wrote yesterday. So today we'll write another class. So we'll write new class, and we'll mention it data types underscore in underscore Java. Okay. And today we will, in this particular program, we will mention a lot of comments so that it will become easier, because this is for the first time which we are doing it. So let's first concentrate on the primitive data types. So we will go with the primitive data types first. And primitive data types, the most important is generally int. There are int, as it suggests, is referring to the integer value of it. So let's say, for example, you write int I equal to 100. Okay, this works absolutely fine. Let's say, for example, I want to introduce something without a number, without an integer. I'll write something like ABC. This will return an error. It will not work. Let's say, for example, I make it alphanumeric. Will it work? No, it will not work. So this suggests that int as a data type is only capable of accommodating integer values and not anything else. Now, if you remember, syso system.out.println, and I'm using I here. Okay, let's run this. Let's see the output. See, the value is 12. Now, yesterday there was a discussion wherein I said ki, even if it is a string, then you have to mention within double quotes. But if it is a number, you can directly enter it. See here, integer I is already a variable which has an instantiation of the number 12. So you can use it directly I. You did not use double quotes here, because if you use double quotes, it will not show any sort of an error, but it will not print 12, it will print I rather. Let me save this, and if you run this, it will print I, because whatever lies inside the double quotes, that is the one which gets printed out in form of string. So if you want the value of I, you have to remove these double quotes. I'm getting a call once again, guys. Okay, now let's resume. Sorry for the delay. And now let's say, for example, I'm just changing the value of I is equal to 20 here. Okay, and then I again print the value of I. So what will be the output here? The output will be 12 will be printed here and 20 will be printed here. Let's say, for example, I remove this, the first printout statement. So now will it take 12 or will it take 20? That is the question. Let's see, let's find out. It will mark 20 because the value of I from the first position to the second position has changed, so it will take the latest position here. It will take the latest value, so the output will be 20. Let's say, for example, I write int again. This will not be accepted because you cannot initialize the data type with the same name again. Okay, you can just change the value because it has already been declared here once. You cannot, you can make it I equal to 30 here. Okay, and then run this program. This will print 30. You can keep changing as many. Let's say, for example, let's try something in in a negative decimals, sorry, in negative integers. It will still work. The latest declaration of the data type will work, but it will not allow you to initialize again. That is so this is int is over. Now let's move on to something else. So now we will go ahead with the data type. So now let's go with double. Oh God. So what exactly double is? If double is actually its range is its value range is quite long. It's typically unlimited uh, uh, to be honest. It's quite long. There is no limitation to the decimal value it. And the double data type is generally used for decimal values. It's just like float, but it is mostly used for decimal values. And the data type should also be used for very precise values. So double is mostly used for precision in any sort of coding. Let's say, for example, currency, right? So we give something exactly in two decimal places, like 100 rupees and 51 paisa. So in that scenario, we use double. So let's see, double D is equal to 100.54. Oh my god, where am I typing? 154. So this will work absolutely fine. Let's print the value of the same. D. See, it's printing 154. Can I change it to so many like that? Save it. Let's print. It will still work fine. So that's mostly the beauty of it. Now let's talk about the one which is also very, very important. It is Boolean. And what does exactly Boolean do? Boolean data type is used to store only two possible values. Two possible values. What are they? Simple. True or false. Okay, this data type is used for simple flags that they are having either 1 or 0. So either it's a true condition or it is a false condition. So the Boolean data type is actually, it has one bit of information that is either true or false, and its size is size cannot be determined, to be honest. There is no size verification for Boolean type. So let's see, Boolean B equal to true. Now let's say I will try to do a little bit of tampering. Let's first do the normal thing. Okay, let's see the printout. Okay, it's working fine. Now let's check with false. Will it work? Yes, it will. The output is false. Now I'm introducing an integer here. Will it work? No, it will throw an error. I'm introducing something for a character. Will it work? No, it throws an error. So I'm introducing something known as a string. Will it work? No, it will not. It will throw an error. So hence prove that we can only use true or we can use false. So we'll go with true this time. See, there is no error and the output is also precise. So this is what you need to do about Boolean. Now let's move on to the next data type, which is character. So let's go with char. Char, as the name suggests, it takes a character which is only which has only one parameter. Let's say, for example, a. Okay, if I do the printout statement of this, this will print a. See, now there is one more thing. Let's say, for example, I remove double quotes. Will it work? No, it will not. That is the coding syntax for entering a character. You have to put single quotes. Okay. Now let's say, for example, we'll become a little over smart and use a string like double quotes. What will be the outcome? No, it will still not work. For character, you just have to use single quotes. That is the coding syntax. Okay. Now let's say, for example, instead of one character, I introduce an integer here. No, it will not work. Character means an alphabet, that is uni-alphabet. You cannot have multi-alphabets in there. Let's say, for example, I use a multiple alphabet. It will still show an error. So typically, character has this limitation. So its usage is also very limited in Selenium. Okay. Now let's move on to the next most widely used thing, which is known as string. String is something which we use extensively. So we will make a special video on string operations wherein I'll give you a lot of examples and lot of actual workarounds in strings, and also with time when you get to learn and go into Selenium deeper, you'll get to know the usage of strings and the application of strings and what is the vivacious effect of strings on coding in Selenium. So let's do something like str1. We will say my name is, oh god, my keyboard is misbehaving. Okay, my name is string. Okay, save it. We'll do the sysop of str1. See, the name is getting printed. Now we'll act smart and we will try to put it in single quotes. You will see that error will not go, because string has to be in double quotes. That is the mandate. That is the coding syntax of strings. Now can I introduce a number inside it? Yes, it will work. Can I introduce special characters inside it? Yes, it will work. So string is something which is very useful and very helpful. So these are the data types which you will be mostly commonly working in Java and learning these, and these are the ones, the string operations and the int and boolean. These are the ones which will give you a lot of conditional outputs. So these are the ones which you need to focus on and learn. You will find a lot of articles if you want to go in depth and find about the range and the okay, I'll give you as a homework. You can do this. You can find the range of each data type, okay, and you can also find the practical usage. Oh God, my keyboard is misbehaving. Practical usage of strings of data types. So you can just you can find in Google, there are a lot of articles you will get to know. So you can take this as an exercise and you can learn on your own. Of course, no one in an interview will ask you what is the range and all. But let's say, for example, you write such a huge number, it will not accept, because see, if you throw it is out of range, you hover the mouse on it, it is out of range. So there are certain ranges, even in negative numbers also there is a range. You cannot write something which is out of range, even in negative or in the positive perspective. There is a certain range. I do not remember exactly, but if you can Google, you can find it. Nobody will ask in an interview what is the range of this particular data type. Maybe they'll ask, maybe not. Not especially to freshers they might, but not to experienced people. But anyways, I hope you like the session. Please practice. I've just given one example of each. You can go on and I have introduced int I here, wherein I just mentioned the change in the value. Let's say, for example, if you want to use another integer declaration like int j, will it work? Let's say int j equal to 12. Will it throw an error? No, it will not throw an error. Now, let's say, for example, you want to print the value of j. Yes, it will work. If you take the printout, see the value of j is 12 here. It shows. The only thing is you cannot. You can also change the value of j equal to 24 or something like that. It will still work. But the thing is you cannot redeclare the same variable again. That is what Java doesn't allow. So that's mostly it. Anyways, so just have a look at this. I hope you like the session. I'm signing out. Please subscribe to my channel, Automation Hub Sathak, and thanks a lot.